but I'm a creep. So no surprises. This is what you'll get. Don't leave me.
All right, y'all. Today we're talking about Radiohead. The band that sounds like a robot had a mental breakdown during a poetry slam. And somehow we all said, wow, art. But before we get into the Melancholy Matrix soundtrack that is their discography, let's rewind. Who are these glitchy British dudes? And why does your artsy friend with a record player act like they're the second coming of Beethoven? Welcome to the weird, brilliant, genre-hopping, award-dodging, drama-sprinkled universe of Radiohead. The band that made anxiety sound sexy and turned glitchy noises into Grammy Gold. They've been called our generation's Beatles, but also been publicly snubbed by Miley Cyrus. They've started musical revolutions and Twitter beefs. And through it all, Tom York just keeps looking like he smelled something weird and decided to write a symphony about it. Today we're diving deep into the legend, the chaos, and the beautifully weird legacy of Radiohead. Let's get into it. Back in the 80s, yes, that long ago, 5 British teens met at their private school and said, let's form a band. Because what else do privileged kids do between Latin class, fencing, and rowing practice? They were called on a Friday, which, well, sounds more like a dentist appointment than a band name. Thankfully, someone said, hey, maybe we shouldn't name ourselves after a time slot. And voila, Radiohead was born, allegedly inspired by a Talking Heads song. And yes, they've been confusing us ever since. Enter Tom York, frontman, cryptic king, and the official I hate fame, but still wear designer clothes poster child. Constantly looks like he just woke up from a dream where he was floating in space with no Wi-Fi. Born October 7th, 1968, Tom made an entire career out of sounding like your inner voice during an existential crisis. Haunted, poetic, and just a little bit glitchy. Johnny Greenwood, guitar, keyboards, and every weird sound you've ever heard that made you go, is my speaker broken, or is this just art? Born November 5th, 1971. Plays 12 instruments and doesn't talk much. Low-key, genius. High-key, mysterious. Ed O'Brien, guitar, and those breathy, angelic backing vocals that make every track feel like a sad sunrise. Born April 15th, 1968. He's the nice guy of the group. Probably waters his plants and says things like, vibes matter. Colin Greenwood, bass player. And yes, that's Johnny's older brother, born June 26th, 1969. Deep, chill. Definitely the guy who'll listen to your breakup story and then recommend a Radiohead B-side to match your mood. Philip Selway, drummer, percussionist, born May 23rd, 1967. He was giving precision with a dash of unpredictability. He's the quiet one who's secretly watching all the chaos and writing a memoir in his head. Their breakout hit Creep in 1992, a banger, a classic, an anthem for every high schooler who wore eyeliner and wrote sad poems in study hall. But guess what? Radiohead hates that song. Like, full-on we pretend it doesn't exist vibes. Tom York once shut down a fan for requesting it live. Sir, you wrote it. It's giving don't look at my old Facebook photos energy. Why did they hate the song? I'll get to that in a moment. Then came OK Computer in 97, a critically acclaimed masterpiece. If your idea of a good time is contemplating late-stage capitalism and robot apocalypses, it was like Pink Floyd got a PhD in cyber anxiety. Critics went nuts. Fans cried. Tom stared into the void and whispered, my job here is done. Then they dropped Kid A, and y'all, it was like they straight up ghosted traditional rock. No guitars, no catchy hooks, just bleep bloops and the sound of your soul evaporating. People were confused, but critics ain't sure. It's the album equivalent of going full vegan and doing hot yoga in a haunted art museum. All right, let's be real. Radiohead didn't just make sad boy music cool, they basically built the whole sad mansion, installed solar panels, and charged rent. By 2011, they'd sold over 30 million albums, which is wild considering half their songs sound like they were written inside a haunted fax machine. But hey, the influence is real. Their 90s albums, The Bends and OK Computer, were basically the blueprint for every sensitive British dude with a piano. Yes, we're looking at you, Coldplay, Keane, Travis, even James Blunt. You're beautiful, but also Radiohead did it first. Critics have called them everything from fearless and adventurous to our generation's Beatles. Meanwhile, Johnny Marr from the Smiths was out here saying Radiohead came the closest to matching his band's influence. Whew, rock royalty recognizing rock royalty. But here's where it gets spicy. In 2020, scholar Daphne Brooks called them the blackest white rock band of the past 30 years. Yup, she wasn't talking about rhythm and dance moves. She was talking vibe. Radiohead's moody, otherworldly, soul-searching soundscapes have deep roots in black music, from jazz to experimental soul, and they've influenced black artists right back. Who knew being existential could be so culturally full circle? So, yeah, Radiohead didn't just change music. They reprogrammed it with emotional code, anxiety updates, and a whole lot of ambient noise. And honestly, we're better for it. Radiohead is that critically adored band who somehow keeps getting ghosted by the awards they should be winning. They've been nominated for a Brit Award 16 times and won 0. Not a zilch. They also hold the record for most Mercury Prize nominations without a win. 5 nominations, not a single trophy. They fared better at the Grammys.
Sure, what do you want? Radiohead!
With 6 wins out of 20 noms, including Best Alternative Album for OK Computer, Kid A, and In Rainbows. Finally, someone with taste. Over at the MTV VMAs, they snatched a win for Best Art Direction in 2003 with There. Because, of course, their music videos are as trippy as their sound. They've also bagged 4 Ivor Novello Awards, 9 NME Awards, 1 Plug Award from 2 nominations, 4 Q Awards from ONZY Noms. In total, 42 awards from 93 nominations. Not bad for a band that once made an album, Kid A, without any singles or obvious hits. Moral of the story? Radiohead might be award show underdogs, but in the court of cool, they reign supreme. Now you came for some tea. Tea we shall spill. Starting light, Tom York, our ever-cryptic frontman, has a lazy eye, something he's had surgeries for since childhood. But over time, it turned into this deep symbolic metaphor for seeing the world differently. Which, let's be honest, is kind of a beautiful excuse for ignoring people at parties. Like, oh sorry, I didn't see you. I was perceiving reality on a more abstract plane. Johnny Greenwood, the guitarist, writes classical music now, like actual orchestras. Who knew that guy shredding on Paranoid Android would end up composing Oscar-nominated film scores? Then there's that time the band dropped In Rainbows online for free in 2007 and said, pay what you want. Capitalism was shaking. Jeff Bezos had to blink twice. Seriously, this one isn't light tea anymore. Let me break it down for you real quick, okay? Back in 2000, they dropped Kid A, and instead of playing nice with record labels or radio stations, they went full digital. Streaming the album online, that was unheard of at the time. But Radiohead did it anyway. Because why follow the rules when you can rewrite them? Then came In Rainbows in 2007, and baby, they shook the table. They pulled a bold, pay what you want release. That's right, fans could literally throw them $1, or nothing at all. Capitalism disrupted. The music biz shooketh. And yet, it worked. So well, in fact, that Forbes later said they helped lay the foundation for the way artists like Beyoncé and Drake would roll out surprise albums. Even David Byrne of Talking Heads fame, yes, the art rock legend himself, stood up at Radiohead's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction in 2019 and gave them props. He praised their musical risks and their tech-savvy ways, saying they changed the game not just for themselves, but for the whole dang industry. So, yeah. While everyone else was still handing out CDs like it was 1995, Radiohead was out here playing 4D chess with the internet. Okay, so Radiohead might sound like the musical embodiment of quiet overthinking, but don't let the moody synths fool you. These lads have seen their share of drama. Let's break down some of the messier chapters in the book of Radiohead. Nothing light here. Back in 2017, Radiohead decided to perform in Israel, and all hell broke loose. Activists from the BDS, Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions movement, were not having it, accusing the band of art washing and giving a soft cosign to Israeli government policies. Tom York clapped back, calling the criticism offensive and patronizing. Meanwhile, Johnny Greenwood was out here collaborating with an Israeli musician, which only added fuel to the fire. Fast forward to 2024, and Tom literally walked off stage mid-show after a heckler called him out over Gaza. That mic drop, not artistic, just tense. You thought Creep was all Radiohead? Plot twist. They got sued because the song borrowed a little too much from the Hollies' 1970s hit, The Air That I Breathe. The OG songwriters sued and won. So now they get co-writing credits and a lifetime supply of that sweet, sad royalty coin. Awkward. Beef with celebs? Check. Apparently, Tom York is the king of the cold shoulder Kanye West? Snubbed. Miley Cyrus? Threatened to destroy them Girl, what? Ronan Keating? Said Tom straight up blanked him like it was a Mean Girls scene. Even Prince got caught in the mix when he covered Creep and tried to keep the video off YouTube. Radiohead wanted it up, respecting artistic expression. A rare moment of chaotic good? In 2012, the Westboro Baptist Church picketed a Radiohead concert, calling them freak monkeys with mediocre tunes. I mean, what even? Radiohead didn't respond, probably because the hate signs couldn't compete with Tom's ever-present aura of, I'm too tired for this. No scandals about trashing hotel rooms or wild parties. Radiohead's controversies are academic, philosophical, and low-key exhausting. But make no mistake, they've had beef, backlash, and legal headaches, just all delivered with a monotone whisper and a synth track. Ooh, I almost forgot to talk about the drama about Radiohead hating Creep. Y'all should have said something. So get this, Tom York actually believed in Creep from the jump, called it a classic before it even popped off. But once it did blow up, Radiohead went full, you don't look at me energy. By the end of 1993, they were calling it crap behind the scenes. Yes, seriously. The success was suffocating. So suffocating they almost broke up. Ed O'Brien even said it felt like reliving the same 4.5 minutes of hell on loop. Dramatic, yes, but also relatable. And oh, they ghosted that song hard. From 2000 to 2002, they played it twice. Then went full-on X mode and didn't touch it for 7 years. Their next single, My Iron Lung, was literally a clap back to Creep. Tom said the song kept them alive, but also made them feel trapped. The duality of trauma and royalties, y'all. Tom even trashed the lyrics later, saying they were pretty crap, and that singing it felt like doing a cover of his own song. Ouch. So yeah, Creep may have been the gateway hit, but to Radiohead, it's the musical equivalent of their embarrassing emo phase that just so happens to have 1 billion streams. So what have we learned today? Radiohead made Creep, hated Creep, ran from Creep, but somehow we all kept creeping back for more. They turned existential dread into art, flipped the music industry on its head, and made it cool to be confusing. Awards? Hey, they've dodged a few. But cult status? Locked in. Influence? Immaculate. Ego? Surprisingly low, unless you try to talk to Tom York at the Grammys. Speaking of, Tom York is 56 now and sitting on a cool $45 million. These days, he's still keeping things weird, in the best way, dropping experimental solo work and jamming with the smile. You never know what you're gonna get from Tom, and that's exactly the point. Johnny Greenwood, the mad scientist with a guitar, is 53 and worth around $30 million. But lately, he's been killing it as a film composer. We're talking full-on Oscar buzz vibes. The Power of the Dog, Licorice Pizza. His scores are hauntingly good. Then we've got Ed O'Brien, 57, also worth $25 million. He stepped out on his own as EOB and released a solo album that was surprisingly soulful and atmospheric. Low-key, he might be the most slept-on member of the band. Colin Greenwood, the bassist and the calm in the Radiohead storm, is 55 and rocking a $25 million net worth too. He's still in the mix musically, quiet but steady. And finally, Philip Selway, the drummer with the gentle face and serious rhythm. He's 57 and worth about $35 million. He's released a couple of solo albums himself and is still keeping the beat going strong. Now here's the thing, Radiohead has never officially broken up. Yeah, they've had some long gaps and fans love to speculate, but the band has said time and time again, they're not done. When the moment feels right, they'll be back. At the end of the day, Radiohead isn't just a band. They're a vibe, a mood, and a sonic mystery wrapped in a glitchy synth line.